It's looking really natural. It's looking very summery. It has that light vibe. It has a little bit of a bronzy vibe, and yet I'm not piling on mascara or eyeshadow like I like to do sometimes. My lips are juicy and they're just like present, but most of the drama is just in the whole tableau. Welcome back. My name is Diana Chu here at SLOWGAZE. If you have seen me here before, thank you for coming back. I am back, and I'm going to be back for the next foreseeable future, so thank you again if you have stuck it through this hiatus with me. Most of it was unplanned. Oh, I will catch you up. I will catch you up on another film, because today I wanted to jump back into something that we all know and love, and that's makeup. So I want to do a little bit more content around mindfulness, obviously, but also about life changes, about processing and healing, but also about leveling up into the person you want to become slowly, but also actively and purposefully, because there's so much coming. I literally can't wait to share that with you. But for now, to be able to jump back into the waters, I had to start with something that I knew. This is a video about the makeup travel bag that I have literally been traveling with to San Francisco, to Asheville and Raleigh, and Charlottesville, Virginia. I was gonna go to Scotland with this. More on that on a different film. Today, it is all about, you know, the quickest, easiest, summer-proof, mask-proof makeup that I've been loving so far. I've also been getting quite a tan on my face only. Even with a mask on, I just had so much sun damage on my scalp and also my forehead, so I'm kind of dealing with a lot of different changes of color on my face. My neck hasn't been quite so affected, but then the rest of my limbs are pretty light. I've been doing facial peels and really just trying to brighten my face, and so a lot of my highlighters and bronzers that were working for me maybe a month or two ago are no longer in the game. So I've been really just dialing into what I can wear every day that, like I said, is mask proof, and that would fit into a little bag like this. It's not that tiny. Oh yeah, that's right, I have shorter hair now, again. This is also courtesy my partner, Ben. He is not a hairdresser. My little Winden comb is this lucite, gorgeous little piece that I think is really like handy. This is the fourth time I tried to film this. I'm just using my little handheld nude sticks mirror. This is the tin from one of their magnetic eye color pencils. I really love it because I can see my entire face. I feel like it's practically indestructible because it's in a tin. It doesn't warp that much. It's not like a funhouse mirror, and it's just so light. So I actually have this on my face already because I was trying to film this as I described, and I got to this point again. But this is the Shiseido Clear Sunscreen Stick in SPF 50. It literally comes out clear like a little wind-up deodorant situation. I do use this straight onto my tattoos as well. It's perfectly portable. I love it because if I'm on a road trip like I was, I will pop this in my purse or right in the car and put it all on areas of my exposed skin that are going to be in the sun whilst I'm driving. It does have like a very balmy, almost beeswaxy texture, but it melts into skin. So it has a bit of a dry feel. I think you can hear that, but it's undetectable. It's not gonna give me a big greasy look. It is gonna give me just a little, I guess it's like a primer, you know, where it does smooth you a little bit, but mostly it just acts as a barrier. I was dealing with the loss of my grandmother, and for anyone who has met my grandmother, you would probably be living in Hong Kong for that. She was in Hong Kong for most of her life, even though she was born and raised in Shanghai. And if you also know the Shanghainese dialect, I'm now going in with the Atelier 3 Vital Stick foundation stick and just going in with my finger to spot conceal, basically. But if you've heard and you recognize the Shanghainese dialect, I think it's a little bit more sinewy. It also has like a lot of sibilance, which is that sound in the English language. There's a lot of like sharper but thin sounds compared to Cantonese, which is what I grew up with, which you'll hear in southern China / Hong Kong. That to me is more like open and blunt, almost like bubbles coming out of your mouth. Whereas even Mandarin slash Shanghainese dialect, there's so many more, there are hundreds more, right? But those are maybe more recognizable. Those have this like willowy character to them. And so it's actually very difficult for me to know what my grandma was talking about when we talked. Despite living in Hong Kong for so much of her life, she like refused to actually switch into the Cantonese dialect, and yet she could understand it, and she basically just spoke Shanghainese all the time and expected everybody around her to know what she was talking about, and then would yell at you because you were dumb enough not to know what she was talking about. She was a force of nature, and just like the hardiest hard worker I've ever met. Not one lick of makeup. Like, forget all of this. You know, if you grew up a millennial like me and have surviving grandparents, or know of your grandparents surviving, you know, depressions and wars, especially if they hearken from China or other places that with unrest, where am I getting at? She lived the toughest life, basically was a single mom for many, many years, and raised so many children, many didn't survive. I think I was dealing with a lot of separation and the feeling that she had locked part of my childhood up into her memories, right? And the fact that she was gone, and she was my last surviving grandparent, that memory of me as a young child, especially in Hong Kong, which is where she still was lost forever. And so this identity feeling, this feeling of heritage lost, my connection, my like tenuous connection, it was just gone. It was tethered to me and then it was no more. And all of that was bundled up in her, or my idea of her. And so like, I am so grateful that she passed without complications. It wasn't through COVID. She was with her youngest daughter, who still lives in Hong Kong with her. And, you know, there's so much to be grateful for, but her passing really affected me and my mother. Regardless, it was just a very difficult time. It still is a difficult time. Finally at a point where I can talk about it and kind of process it. That was a lot of foundation, actually. I think that was a lot more than I usually put on, but my skin has been also going through what I've been going through, and you know, you can still see my blemishes, you can still see the redness around, and but it's really evened out my skin tone. This is the Pyt Beauty Pencil. I think it's in chocolate brown. If I just color in where my natural brows are, my brows look a little bit too shrunken and too dark, like stamped on. They're really short and stubby. So I like to put a little bit more of a tail on these days. Take the color down a little bit with the opposite end. To me, that's looking pretty natural. Let's go in with the Merit Brow Pomade. I think this is, what is it? They call it the Brooke Shields or something, the 1980s Brow Wow or something. This is in black brown. I love, love, love this stuff. And I don't get those weird smudges with other brow products or brow pomades. As I say that, I just smudge a little bit. But like on the hairs themselves, they don't actually start clumping up and then I have to like go in with a spoolie again. I really enjoy this thing. So thank you, Merit. It's also Clean Beauty, which I don't try to find just for my brow products, but since I am trying to move my collection mostly into a Clean Beauty realm anyway, it does help to have it all kind of in that same space. What's next? Gosh, I'm so happy to be with you all. I really wanted to thank you as well for helping me find 3,000 subscribers and counting who would stick around and want to hang out with me. I have so much more to share, like I said, in the coming weeks. Seriously, there's so much I want to talk about, and it's not just about makeup. This is the iconic Nude Lip Pencil by Charlotte Tilbury. Perfect. This is the perfect brownie nude for me. I thought I found it in Coconut by Kylie Cosmetics. I thought I found it in Kit by Beauty. I was gonna say Cosmetics, but Charlotte Tilbury, sometimes she really can do no wrong with her color theory. I am gonna go in next with this Jason Wu Juicy Lip Gloss. It does have a little bit of a tingly feeling. Very subtle, very, very subtle. I can't even tell you if it's a true like peppermint scent or if it's a true like peppermint slash vanilla scent. I've been loving clear lip glosses lately, just really been obsessed with them. Got this one at Target. I'm liking it so far. This is not super thick. It's not like as thick as the Glossier gloss that has that same like milky pink tint to it. Under a mask, I use those like cloth masks from Everlane. I really love those. They fit my smaller face perfectly. The way that my face is built and how that works with the mask, actually my nose gives me just enough space and that my lips don't hit the mask. So I actually can wear very comfortably lip gloss, like this much lip gloss under a mask and still feel like my lips are being plumped. Even though nobody's seeing it, I can feel it. To my favorite part, I've been obsessed with blush. Obsessed with blush. Finding blushes, putting on blushes, taking off blushes just to put more blush on. I don't know what's up with me. So I actually, in my travel kit here, I have 3 blush products. So far we have the Benefit Benetint, the original, but I also have a mini size of the Dallas Benefit bronzer blush, Blonzer, and then the Super Loaded by Westman Atelier. So you'll find that these 2 are kind of surprises to me. These are both by Benefit, right? And they're pretty classic. What I love about this Benetint, this is their classic rosy shade. It's not quite their Love Tint or their Posy Tint, which skew really on the nose like colors. This one is like a true rosy color. It's not like a cherry color. It has just enough purple and just enough depth for my skin tone, especially with this, if you want to call it a tan. It's a tan. I literally just dot 2 dots and then quickly pat to blend. That already is like a really subtle flush that looks believable. A little bit more, and it's just right south of my cheekbone. And what I love about it is that this literally won't budge, right? It stays off into the next day. I love that I can take off my mask without worrying about it. I love that it can look natural. You can see that it actually stained my fingers probably more than my face because I have so much other stuff on my face right now. I like it. I like it. I get why it's a classic. It really stays, and it does stain your fingers. That's what that's looking like so far, so still a lot of room. Can we talk about this just a little bit? I know. The ones that come in this square packaging, this is the mini size, so it actually comes with a tiny brush and a tiny mirror. It's all cardboard. I've been boycotting it. I've been trying to avoid buying this, especially the Hoola bronzer. So many people love it, and I've been boycotting it. I don't know why. There's something about it. Obviously this isn't Hoola, this is their Dallas Blonzer. It says sweep this rosy bronze blush on cheeks to stir up some sexy. I see what you did there. There's something like ASMR about it. There's something really satisfying about this packaging that I can't put my finger on. Tan color, it isn't that rosy in my opinion. It's pretty tawny, it's pretty brown, and it has a lot of shimmer running through it. And so I literally dig in and I sweep across several times to really pick up a lot of this because, like I said, with the color of my face right now, it's pretty subtle. You can still see the rosiness of that Benefit Benetint on, and then I just sweep it literally across my face as if it's just a rugby stripe. Just a stripe all the way into my hairline and then across my nose. And it's giving me that perfect W shape. Any excess goes straight onto my forehead. This little brush is mighty and it can do no harm. My magic last touch is the Westman Atelier Tinted Highlight. I love this. This is the Peau de Pêche color and I've been using it like crazy almost every day, right? And it still seems like I can't get down into it. So that's me picking up just a little bit of it. If you haven't taken the plunge yet and tried this for yourself, this is one of the coolest products I've ever encountered. There are definitely dupes, if you want to call it that. There are definitely products that simulate this light champagne rosy color. I would say the RMS Champagne Rose, is it? Their highlighter, their Living Luminizer. If you want to look in a powder form, I think the Pink Quartz, is it Rose Quartz or Pink Quartz from Bobbi Brown, their Shimmer Brick also will give you a similar effect. Yet this has a little bit of a bronzy, peachy tone. It has a little bit of silver. It's a very difficult product to describe. has a little bit of a coconut scent. This alone on the cheekbones and melted into the skin, it looks so, so healthy. It's my favorite product from Westman Atelier. Westman Atelier is fast becoming one of my favorite brands in general, let alone a clean beauty brand, let alone a luxe brand. But I literally just picked it up, I just patted it on my finger, and then now I'm transferring it over onto my cheekbone, a little bit under the brow too. It's just finger painting, but look how like golden and melted everything seems now that this is on top. So this is the ultimate finisher. I've been playing around a lot with this since I bought it. Should this go underneath? Should this go on top of foundation? Should it go under foundation? And then finally I watched one thing by Gucci Westman herself, and she was saying that this is a great finisher. And I do agree. If I finally conceive of it in that way, and I'm like, okay, this is supposed to seal everything in, also blend everything together, and just give this final kiss of finish to the skin, it really works wonders. I did bring my Charlotte Tilbury Penelope Pink. This is a very Brigitte Bardot color. I've used it in my last video, which I will link in the sky above. Please excuse any of the finger swatches. It's very difficult to show you because I have the Benetint on my fingertips. But yeah, it's a pretty peachy, nudie, beigey color. I shouldn't say nude because that's very subjective and exclusive, opposite of inclusive. So yeah, I'm just gonna dab that onto my lips. It's like a concealer for my lips without it actually being concealer, because it does have a little bit of that rosy shade. And then I go in with the MAC Sandstone Single. I pick it up in a super fluffy brush. You almost can't detect it. It's just gonna give me this taupey, shadowy shift and push my monolids, sort of recess it back, almost giving them, yeah, this semblance of some architecture, the feeling that they're a little bit deeper in space, which is what I want. I want a little bit more of a deep set effect. And I love going in and veiling colors on top of my eyes. I spoke about this a little bit in my last video and what it means to have a really smoky, like truly smoky eye, and that smoke is, you know, very thin layers. It's giving my eyes just a little bit of definition. I can blend it really quickly, so if I'm on the go and I'm traveling, I'm not too worried about it moving around or having too much fuss. So I really love this. This is the Sandstone shade. I've tried so many other shades from MAC, and this is the perfect taupey brown. This is the Westman Atelier La Nuit iPod in the shade Noir. I'm picking it up with the flat side of this brush close to my lash line on my top lash, almost like a gray colored eyeliner, and extending my lash line. What I love about travel makeup is that you really get down to the basics. You also get down to things that can stay for many, many hours. And even if they don't stay, they wear in fine. You know, it's not like after 12 hours of photo shoots, which is why I was out in San Francisco in the hot sun or in different environments and in and out of vans and all this stuff. You just don't know what's gonna come. And so it's really nice to have makeup that will transcend the ordinary and live with you throughout the day. And if you need a touch-up or you find yourself in a bathroom and it's a little bit crazy, you can just go in with your fingers. I do sometimes go in with mascara. You'll find that I don't have my Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara because I did have that on the trip and it has been flaking on me, and I don't know quite what it is. Is it because of the new sunscreen that I've been using? It will literally come off in larger, like lash-shaped flakes. Not too much, not too crazy, but I've kind of reverted back to my favorite non-clean mascara. This is the Double Wear Zero Smudge Lengthening Mascara by, is it Estee Lauder? Yes. Does help finish a look. And then this mirror goes straight into the pot, the cauldron. Let's see if I can show you without tipping it. So this zips up very nicely. There's no interior compartments. Has a leather bottom, no feet. And it's just been serving me pretty well. That's that. This is my travel makeup. I am so, so happy to be back here on the air with you. It's not about one product that's really making it. It kind of all works together in this seamless way so that at the very end, then it comes together and it feels like, okay, you know, it's done. I love it when it's all the works, the happenings of these little elements, each one doing their own part, just building up, and finally you pop on mascara or what have you, and then it's ready. Like, I feel like I can go take on anything. From 300 subscribers last Thanksgiving when I was going to see my mom to 3,000. It's been 6 months. Sorry, my battery died. I had to come back. I guess I'm not done hanging out with y'all yet. I wanted to talk a little bit more before letting you go and starting a new video and starting my day. This is my favorite mug from Goodwill. Has a little bit of coffee beans from Blue Bottle Coffee. Yes, my journey from 300 subscribers to 3,000 has only taken me 6 months. And that can feel both like a really short amount of time and also a really long amount of time. I want to come out with a video about starting your own channel because I really want this to be an open call, not only to creators and people who watch my stuff, but also to people who feel like they have a creative spirit, who feel like they have something to share, but also people who don't usually see themselves represented in public media because it is so, so, so important. After my grandmother passed, my partner and I, Ben, have been watching Minari. We've been reading Crying in H Mart by Japanese Breakfast's front lead singer. Watching a lot more Asian Pacific Islander immigrant story stuff. After reading Crying in H Mart, it's a really good book. I recommend it. She's obviously not a writer, but she does her best, and it does bring up a lot of feelings about her heritage and going back to South Korea and living with her mom and kind of mourning some loss of identity as well. So I felt really connected to that. But seeing those stories, seeing younger people that look like me on screen, I'm speaking of Minari in my head right now. That is about a South Korean immigrant family in Arkansas. Like seeing the young boy, not even the young girl, the young boy with his chubby cheeks on screen, just being a young boy, seamlessly between his bilingual understanding of self. Like sometimes he'll be saying stuff in English, sometimes he won't. And that's how I grew up. I was holding on so strongly to this idea of being American that I didn't want anything else. And I felt truly American. And then I moved to Hong Kong for 10 years. It has helped me see myself on screen, not as a trope, not as a trophy Asian, not as a fresh off the boat like character with comedic like purpose, truly just being a young person. It just was really, really like heartbreaking to me that I had to go through life until I was 31 years old to experience this feeling. Like there was a lot of heartbreak when I was watching things like this, but a lot of joy and hope as well. So going back to my main point is, if you don't see someone out there who looks like you and aren't represented, you gotta represent yourself, right? It's not me telling the victim to really pull themselves up and do the thing. There is a little bit about being that person and sharing your story. I'm sure you have a story to share that's different from anyone else's, but also can connect universally with others. So I really want you to start a YouTube channel, and I will do a video dedicated to that and my journey, learning to film, how to even be confident on camera or confident enough to get past the point of fear, to start showing up online, to start my own Instagram on it, to like really build a personal brand around this. If you're interested, please let me know down below. I really want to dig into this concept, also because there's a lot coming behind the scenes where I also am trying to level up my own self and build my own business and share more about my business in the coming weeks. So there's that. Classic Diana. I don't know how to use Instagram in some ways, because I put out a poll like so long ago about, hey, if I hit 3,000 subscribers, which I thought was coming way faster the way that the analytics were coming, and then they just plateaued. So it took me, I think, months to return to this poll. I asked y'all for questions to ask me, and so I'm gonna end this little segment, my film, with an answer to a question that I remembered. I can't even go back and look at my poll answers. I'm so sorry. I did read every single one of them, and thank you for interacting with me and asking me questions. I think there were mostly ones about how I grew into this aesthetic, how I came into being me. And I wanted to share some photos because these are me, right? And this is me at Atlantic Beach with my dad. I can cover Alice's face. She's my best friend and she was my maid of honor. But this is us at 13 years old. I was wearing a terry cloth, like towel polo shirt, and I had blue braces, and it was amazing. Alice and Sid, again, these lovely ladies. I'm so sorry I'm covering your faces, but that's me wearing, I think jokingly wearing Alice's glasses just for this segment. You can see that I'm wearing like boy shorts from American Eagle. I have a shirt that I got from Hong Kong for like $5 US when I moved to Hong Kong, and my cousin and my father are on the left. But that's me being emo, wearing an All-American Rejects sweatshirt at a banquet, deliberately making myself look fatter and not wearing any makeup. I'm sure I was 15, 16. Oh, I'm holding up a book that I'm reading. It was Franny and Zooey by J.D. Salinger. That was me really hating on myself. This is me at 18 with my friend Judy. Doesn't tell you much about my journey into how I got this aesthetic. Found myself to be very much a tomboy. I grew into a very awkward stage of experimentation. I would pierce my own ears. I would, you know, try to put makeup on. Like the first time I put on mascara, I literally was like, this is why makeup is good. Being in art school also helped me like find my identity a little bit, not a lot. Most of the time it was experimentation. I would wear absolutely anything. I refused to wear the same thing twice. I knew I had like still this masculine feminine thing going where this like energy was always tumultuous with me. I always felt a little bit more androgynous than my peers. I didn't feel like I fit the true feminine trope that I grew up in. I didn't fit into Western standards of beauty, and so it was really hard for me to understand and grapple with my heritage, as well as growing up multicultural, not only that, bilingual and as a first generation American. And only now, years after some of that experience has passed, I can actually process it and say it out loud. It doesn't mean that I've completely processed it, nor have I totally understood it. It just means that I can say it out loud and start to identify the pieces. I've been trying to embrace my monolids. I've been embracing getting older as well, meaning that my lips are no longer the like center of attention because I just don't have the same lip volume. So I'm just focusing on keeping the good architecture of my face, which means my brows, maybe some contour, and good skin. All right, I will leave you there. I am so glad you stuck around with me. I'll be back every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central Time, to share the good with you, the news, the good word, and tell you what's been actually going on in my life, how this channel is going to evolve alongside it. Find me on Instagram. So thank you. I will see you again on my next film, my next video. Adios.